You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications.
What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here with my WrestleMania 38 predictions video, and we got a lot of matches to talk about. Of course, WrestleMania 38 is split into two nights. Overall thoughts on the card. Of course, WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, and to be quite honest with you, I've stated this before on the show. Really, WrestleMania for the past couple of years hasn't really been WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania is fully coming back. It's going to be in full capacity this year. Of course, last year it was 25% capacity, which I attended night one, by the way, which I constantly mention all the time. But we're going to be talking about WrestleMania. Overall, there are a couple matches that I'm actually really invested in. Of course, Edge versus AJ Styles. Who is Seth Rollins' opponent going to be? Wink, wink. It's going to be Cody Rhodes, in my opinion. Of course, we got the main event being Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a title-for-title unification match, even though the titles are not going to be unified permanently. They're going to be unified in a temporary basis. But we're going to be talking about the entire WrestleMania card. But before I get on with my predictions video, make sure to like and subscribe to the Broken Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, reminder that the Broken Havoc podcast is now available on audio format, so it's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. If you guys want to check out the Broken Havoc podcast in audio format, you can go check out the podcast on those platforms. All right, let's get on with the WrestleMania 38 card. Again, WrestleMania, of course, is the biggest show of the year, the showcase of the immortals. But you can argue that really for the past couple of years, even before the pandemic, WrestleMania hasn't really been WrestleMania. But I will say I'm still pretty excited, mainly because of the fact that it's WrestleMania weekend. There's just a lot of shows happening, especially today. Of course, we got Supercard of Honor happening, which I will be watching. I'm probably not going to watch it live, mainly because of the fact that I am going to give you guys a SmackDown and Rampage review for tomorrow. We also got SmackDown, Rampage. We got the Hall of Fame today. So we got 4 shows happening all at once tonight. So that's going to be insane. I don't know how I'm going to get through with watching all that. Really, the show that nobody's going to care about tonight, unfortunately, is going to be Rampage, mainly because of the fact that Tony Khan is running 2 shows. Of course, he's running Supercard of Honor, and of course, he has Rampage, which is already taped, which I believe we will have the Young Bucks taking on Top Flight. But let's get on with the WrestleMania card. So in our first match, we're going to be starting off with Night 1, of course. To be quite honest with you, the Night 1 card looks so much better than the Night 2 card. And that is just me telling you guys that. Like, the Night 1 is so much better, and to me, Night 1 has more interest than Night 2. So, Night 1 in our first matchup of Night 1 of WrestleMania is the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic Mysterio, taking on The Miz and Logan Paul, the first of 3 celebrity matches that are going to be involved in WrestleMania. Overall, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really as interested in Logan Paul wrestling. He was at WrestleMania last year, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't really care. But maybe Logan Paul is going to do great. Who do I think is going to be winning this match? To be quite honest with you, Logan Paul, since Logan Paul is the celebrity here, like usually when it comes to celebrities, they most likely win at WrestleMania if they were involved in a match. For example, Floyd Mayweather, he was a celebrity boxer, and he came in to fight Big Show at WrestleMania 24 at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida, back in 2008. He beat Big Show in that match, and it got a lot of attention, by the way. But Logan Paul, even though he has mainstream appeal, honestly, to be quite honest with you, I'm not really as interested, to be quite honest with you. But honestly, I'm gonna say this right here. I feel like the Miz and not the Miz, the Mysterios are going to be getting the win at WrestleMania. In another match that is absolutely pretty garbage, that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, cares about, is Drew McIntyre taking on Happy Corbin. To be quite honest with you, man, this match sucks. I mean, the entire feud with Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin has been, a lot of people absolutely hate the feud. Not only that, really, out of all positions that you could have put Drew McIntyre in at WrestleMania, you put him against Happy Corbin of all freaking people. To me, that is just really dumb and stupid. I mean, this feud has been dated back all the way even before the Royal Rumble. It has been dating back since day one, to be quite honest with you, and even before day one. To get my facts straight, but like to be like again like honestly, this is gonna be one of those matches that are just gonna be one of those matches that are just like the piss break. It's gonna be the match that you're gonna have your piss break in my opinion, honestly. And that's no disrespect to Drew McIntyre or even Happy Corbin, even though I'm not a big fan of Happy Corbin, especially Drew McIntyre, mainly because of the fact that WWE should have had a better position for Drew McIntyre. And the same goes to Sasha Banks, and she is put in a women's fatal four-way match for the women's tag team championships, in which the titles mean absolutely nothing. All right. We got the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods taking on Sheamus and Ridge Holland. I believe originally this was supposed to be a 6-man tag team match involving Big E and quote-unquote Butch, which I think that is a dumb name change in my opinion. Overall, again, this was another feud, to be quite honest with you, that I'm not really interested in. Another piss break match in my opinion. The reason why I say that is because how many times have we seen the New Day and Sheamus and Ridge Holland feud on television in actual matches? Like so many times to the point where it's getting absolutely repetitive in my opinion. And again, you know, it's a match that is just not interesting in my view whatsoever. Do I think the match is probably going to be good? Yeah, but again, you know, it's not really as interesting at all. I think the repetitive matches on SmackDown really hurt that, in my opinion. I just felt like, to me, there's nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, special when it comes to this feud. So who do I think is going to be winning this match? Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are going to be going over. The babyfaces are going to be going over in the match. All right. In our next match of the evening, we got the Usos versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. Of course, Rick Boogsby, I believe it was Jey Uso, to be correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was either Jay or Jimmy. I completely forgot. And they were granted a championship match. Overall, I think this is going to be a great tag team match. Do I see the Usos dropping those tag team championships? Absolutely not. But I feel like Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura have a high advantage coming in to this match. But again, I think the Usos are just really popular right now. I don't think they should drop the tag team championships. That's just my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see. I think the match is going to be great. The Usos always put out really good matches, especially on pay-per-view. They always put out really good-ass tag team matches on pay-per-view, and this is coming from a company that really does not focus their emphasis on tag team wrestling. But the Usos and versus Boogs and Nakamura, I see the Usos retaining the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. In one match that I'm actually really interested in is Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Out of both women's championship matches, that being the Raw and the SmackDown women's titles, this match is more interesting in my opinion, and probably throughout the entire community's opinion, than Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. I feel like Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, the build has been an absolute failure in my opinion. I just feel like there was a lot of things missing when it came to that feud. Not only that, Ronda Rousey is partially to blame, mainly because of the fact of she just cuts really bad promos in my opinion. But overall, I felt like the build for Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch was really good, especially these past couple of weeks. You know, that fantastic promo segment that Becky Lynch cut on Raw, I believe it was last week, and also, you know, Bianca Belair cutting the hair of Becky Lynch this past Monday on Raw as well. I actually dug that stuff, and I have been enjoying the build when it came to Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Who do I think is going to be winning this match? Honestly, I see Bianca Belair dethroning Becky Lynch because it makes absolutely perfect sense, mainly because of the fact that Bianca Belair needs to get her win back. She needs to get her win back, and, you know, it was pretty embarrassing that she lost in, like, less than, 5 seconds, which was absolutely ridiculous. But definitely, I think the match is going to be really good. Not only that, I feel like Bianca Belair is going to be walking out of WrestleMania 38 as the new Raw Women's Champion. Here's one match that I really want to talk about, and that is Seth freaking Rollins. I still call him Seth Rollins because I do not know why they changed his name to Seth freaking Rollins, because that was just a catchphrase. You don't have to overdo it and just name it his official name. That is really dumb. But Seth Rollins is going to be taking on an opponent of Mr. McMahon's choosing. I for one, have been enjoying the what they were doing with Seth Rollins for the past couple of weeks on Raw. Now, granted, the stipulations that they were adding on the matches that he had with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles were absolutely dumb. If you really look at those stipulations in retrospect that Seth Rollins was put in when it came to the matches that he had with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, those stipulations were really stupid. First off, really, when he was facing Kevin Owens, the stipulation was whoever won the match will be the host of the talk show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Honestly, that is just really embarrassing in my opinion. Not only that, of course, with the match with Edge was currently feuding, or AJ Styles, I should say, was currently feuding with Edge, and whoever won that match was gonna be the one to face Edge at WrestleMania. Did you honestly think that Seth Rollins was going to be winning that match? No, but they won via DQ. But I will say this, overall, we all know who his opponent is going to be quite honest with you, and it's going to be Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, 100% in my opinion, is going to be the guy to face Seth Rollins. It just, to me, it makes perfect sense, and WWE needs, and I mean this, they need to deliver on this whole new signing, or whoever is going to be facing Seth Rollins. A lot of people are saying it's going to be Shane McMahon, and Cody Rhodes is going to be joining Raw. Honestly, a lot of people are fine with that, but at the same time, to me, even though if Shane McMahon is Seth Rollins' opponent, I do see Cody Rhodes definitely showing up on Raw. But at the same time, that build was basically built for nothing. If you really look at it, if Shane McMahon is really the opponent for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, I mean, honestly, like how are you, what do you justify when it comes to building up Seth Rollins, especially throughout these past couple of weeks on Raw? It just makes no sense. So honestly, I do believe that Seth Rollins' opponent at WrestleMania is going to be Cody Rhodes. And if it is Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, who's going to win that match? 100% Cody Rhodes. It would make no sense if Cody Rhodes had his first match back in the WWE, going up against Seth Rollins and losing a match. That'd just be an absolutely terrible decision. So if it is Cody Rhodes is the one that is supposed to go over, because this guy has to be right up there in the Raw main event scene. All right. Here's one match that nobody wants to see, that being Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Overall, this match had absolutely terrible build to it, and you could tell like WWE was really trying hard for people to be interested. But really, I felt like Ronda's promos were really the straw that broke the camel's back, especially for this feud, in my opinion, mainly because of the fact that every time when she cut a promo, and you can hear me talk about this on my previous SmackDown and Rampage reviews, and, when I talk about Ronda Rousey, like Ronda Rousey sounds like she does not want to be there whenever she's cutting her promo. She's literally, whenever she's cutting her promos, she literally sounds like a casual person talking. Like she's speaking like this. Well, I'm going to be facing Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and it's going to be an awesome match at WrestleMania, and you people are going to be behind me. Like, stuff like that, to me, Ronda Rousey did not have any enthusiasm whenever it came to her promos, and she wasn't really that good of a promo even in her first run in the WWE. I remember when they first turned her heel, it was during the build for WrestleMania 38. She actually had some really good potential because she definitely spoke from the heart whenever she was a heel. But as a babyface, oh my God, she was god-awful. And, definitely it was over-scripted garbage that, she was saying. Not only that, I just felt like it, whatever. Every time when Ronda Rousey spoke again, it felt so lazy just hearing it. That is what I felt. Maybe that wasn't her true intentions, but still, like, I just felt like, she just she didn't have that enthusiasm when it came to her promos, and that was what really hurt this match to begin with. Not only that, this match, Charlotte versus Ronda shouldn't have happened to begin with. It should have been Becky versus Ronda, but they're going to save that for next year's WrestleMania, hopefully. But again, I would have done Becky versus Ronda this year. I wouldn't give a single crap. But yeah, man, who do I think is going to be winning this match? I see Ronda Rousey winning it, mainly because of the fact that WWE is just having high hopes when it comes to Ronda Rousey. And you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't care at all. All right. Let's head to the Kevin Owens show featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin. Kevin Owens, of course, has been mocking the state of Texas for the past couple of months on Monday Night Raw, which led to him calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, of course, the rumor was that this was going to be an official match, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. Now, there's a very well likely scenario in which we can be really close to an in-ring return of Stone Cold Steve Austin, mainly because of the fact that this segment is going to main event night one of WrestleMania. It's going to be the last segment, the last thing that happens on night one of WrestleMania. So they're definitely going to be going out with a bang on the first night of WrestleMania. Honestly, I think that was the right decision to make, mainly because of the fact that WWE saw, in my opinion, they definitely saw the backlash that Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey were getting, and they did not want an absolute shit show happen at WrestleMania when it came to Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. Now, granted, even though the build has been terrible, you never know. Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey can have a damn good match. But still, like, the build is absolutely atrocious, and I feel like nobody wants to see Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey in the main event. But Steve Austin and Kevin Owens are going to be main eventing the show. Of course, most likely 100% Austin is going to get physical. It just makes perfect sense for that to happen. But what does this lead to? Does it possibly lead to a match maybe at night 2? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. This is definitely really interesting, and WWE is really banking high when it comes to this Kevin Owens show segment with Steve Austin. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. There's so many scenarios that can happen, and honestly, you never know. This could possibly even lead to a one last match with Steve Austin. That is just me far-fetching, but that could possibly happen. All right. Now, we're going on to night 2 of WrestleMania. Of course, in our first matchup of night 2, we got the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship match with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley taking on the Women's Tag Team Champions of Carmella and Queen Zelina versus Naomi and Sasha Banks versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler, in which that team is a complete 100% makeshift tag team. All these teams are makeshift tag teams, and you wonder why nobody cares about the Women's Tag Team Championships is because of the fact that there are no real women's tag teams on the women's division. That is a 100% fact. But all of these teams are makeshift tag teams, and honestly, the worst one out of the bunch, in my opinion, is definitely Shayna Baszler and Natalya, mainly because of the fact that team was just thrown together with no reason whatsoever, and all these other teams were thrown together for no reason whatsoever, in my opinion. Now, granted, Sasha Banks and Naomi kind of make sense, mainly because of the fact that they were a part of Team Bad way back in 2015, but still, I mean, again, what are my thoughts on the match itself? I think the match itself is going to be great. I think they're going to absolutely tear the house down. But at the same time, for me, there is absolutely no interest, mainly because of the fact that Sasha Banks is put in this match. Why is Sasha Banks put in this match where she can literally be put in a higher ranked match on the card? She should be literally as one of the main events of the entire WrestleMania card, but she's not. She's put in this Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way match, which makes absolutely no sense. But who do I think is going to be winning? Naomi and Sasha Banks are going to be walking out of WrestleMania 38 as the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. All right. In our next matchup of the evening, we got Johnny Knoxville. Yes, Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. What can I say, honestly? This match is basically called Anything Goes. It's a freaking no-holds-barred match. Just call it that. But originally, this match was slated for the Intercontinental Championship, which was a complete joke, which led to Sami Zayn taking on Ricochet in a fantastic opener on SmackDown, which led to Ricochet winning the Intercontinental Championship, but Ricochet has had so far an absolutely terrible run with the IC Championship, mainly because of the fact that he has been losing clean to his matches. I mean, this past Monday, he lost clean to Austin Theory. But overall, to be quite honest with you, Johnny Knoxville is the babyface here, so he's just 100% going to embarrass, Sami Zayn, so it just makes perfect sense for Johnny Knoxville to win this match, and that's all I got to say about that, as Stone Cold Steve Austin would say. Pat McAfee taking on Austin Theory. Overall, I've been enjoying the build on SmackDown when it comes to this match. Of course, this match was technically announced during the Pat McAfee show when he had Vince McMahon as his guest, which I definitely enjoyed that podcast. And Vince McMahon, of course, told Pat McAfee, who was the host of his own podcast, of course, oh my God, I have my Dynamite layout. Holy shit, my apologies right there. I didn't take that out. But overall, I think the build for this match is absolutely going to be really good, in my opinion. I'm definitely going to enjoy what I watch here. Of course, Pat McAfee has proven himself in the ring, so I have no worries here. And this is one of these celebrity matches that I actually have no problem with. I don't even want to, put Pat McAfee in that category, mainly because of the fact that he's one of the commentators for SmackDown. But overall, I see Pat McAfee going over. It makes perfect sense, and the build for this match, in my opinion, has been really entertaining. And every time when Austin Theory like smacks Pat McAfee, he just goes off, and he goes off in a really funny way. And I absolutely enjoy Pat McAfee's character. So, who do I think is going to be winning against Austin Theory and Pat McAfee? 100% Pat McAfee is going to go over, and he is going to brag all night long on the Friday after WrestleMania. All right, in our next match, we got RK Bro defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against the Alpha Academy. Of course, Otis and Chad Gable taking on Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits. Overall, I think this match is going to be a really good tag team match. I mean, I will say this. Although Raw is still a pretty bad show, Raw has had some really good wrestling lately, I'm not going to lie. And most of those matches are involving RK Bro. And do I see RK Bro winning, or I should say losing the match? Hell no. The reason why I say that is because RK Bro, they're just so freaking over with the crowd right now. It would make no sense for you to drop those titles, have them drop those titles to like either Alpha Academy or the Street Profits. To me, it would just make no sense whatsoever. So honestly, I think the match is going to be really good, and I see RK Bro retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships. One match that was announced completely last minute this past Monday on Raw is Bobby Lashley taking on Omos. Another match that to me is just a piss break match. I'm glad to see that Bobby Lashley is back. But again, like, to be quite honest, are you really interested in this match? I'm going to ask you, the viewer, right now. Are you really interested in this match? My answer is no. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that, like, to me, they just basically gave you the entire match on Raw. Like, what you saw on Raw when it came to Bobby Lashley and Omos in the ring is exactly what you're going to get at WrestleMania. It just makes absolutely perfect sense for them to do that. But who do I think is going to be winning? I feel like Omos is going to win, mainly because of the fact that they're building Omos as an unstoppable monster on Raw. So it just makes perfect sense for them to put Omos over, to have Bobby Lashley put over Omos. In the main event of the evening, the WWE is dubbing this match as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. It is a winner-take-all championship unification match between the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar taking on the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. This has been building for the past couple of months, ever since SummerSlam. Overall, I am definitely 100% excited for this main event. Of course, this is the third time we're going to be getting Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar wrestle in the main event at WrestleMania. The first time it was WrestleMania 31, in which they had a fantastic match and saw Seth Rollins cash in his Money in the Bank contract to become the WWE Champion. The second time was at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans, in which the match was kind of lackluster, and Roman Reigns was busted open for absolutely no reason, but Lesnar beat him clean. But who I think is going to be winning the rubber match? Overall, honestly, I genuinely believe that Roman Reigns is going to walk out with both championships. It just makes absolutely perfect sense for them to do that, because they're booking Roman Reigns right now like a god. Like, as Roman Reigns says, he's on God mode right now. He's on God mode right now, and it makes absolutely total sense for them to put the WWE Championship on Roman Reigns as well. And this guy's going to have a monster of a championship title reign. Now, these titles are not going to be unified permanently. These titles are going to be unified in a temporary manner, kind of like when the women's titles were unified for a short period of time, but then, of course, they split the women's championships again. That is most likely what is going to happen here, and, you know, Raw is going to get back the WWE Championship, and SmackDown is going to keep the Universal Championship. Overall, I definitely do see Edge or AJ Styles winning those respective championships later this year. We'll have to wait and see, but overall, you know, Roman Reigns has been on a tear ever since August of 2020, and I genuinely believe he's definitely going to walk out of WrestleMania 38 with both the WWE title and the Universal Championships. Anyway, guys, that was my WrestleMania 38 predictions video. Overall, I genuinely believe that WrestleMania is going to be a pretty good show. But, you know, I think there's definitely going to be some flaws with it, but 100% I think it's going to be a pretty good show. There's a lot of stuff happening this weekend, not only just WrestleMania, but you got Supercard of Honor, SmackDown Rampage, the Hall of Fame, a bunch of independent shows. There's a lot of shit going on right now in Dallas for WrestleMania. But overall, I think WrestleMania is going to be a pretty fun show to watch. mainly because of the fact that it's just called WrestleMania. But yeah, those were my WrestleMania 38 predictions video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, right here on YouTube. So, as always, it is Broken Havoc, signing out.